one of the biggest questions we hear over and over again is this whole thing about price. And somebody, well, I just went online and I just saw the price of gold, and your Karatbars gold is at 62 euros today, and I can get it for 46 bucks. And I said, I understand. I actually understand. And because when I first started this business and before I really understood the nature of grams, I thought the same thing too. So I want to help you understand a couple of things about where price comes from. First of all, I want to talk about this whole issue of spot price, okay? Because here's the truth and here's the reality. All right, now this is coming from somebody who's not just a Karatbars affiliate. I've been buying a lot of gold for a lot of years, and I've got a bullion dealer here in Vancouver with whom my wife and I, Michaela, we've purchased large quantities. I mean, I'm not going to get into the numbers, but when I walk in the door, okay, these guys, they know me by name, and they know it's going to be a good day, okay? There's a big transaction about to take place, all right? But so here's what the spot price is actually. It's based on a lot of things, but this is the price at which, if you were to take physical delivery of gold, that is the price that buyers and sellers have settled on at the end of the trading day on the commodity exchange in New York, London, Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Okay, none of us trade, not you, not me. We as individual consumers, we do not trade on the commodity exchange. Okay, that is the price that's agreed on by large institutional buyers and the refiners themselves. And there's lots of ingredients that go into figuring out what the spot price is going to be. But just suffice it to say that you and me, we never get it. Now, my last purchase, I'll just throw it out there. The last time I made a large bullion purchase, and by the way, my last Karatbars purchase was $50,000 in one throw. And my last bullion purchase at a bullion dealer, and there were some reasons why I wanted to do that, it was $150,000. Okay, and when I walk in with $150,000 in my pocket, they will negotiate with me a little bit. But I promise you, I never get the spot price. So here's what the spot price is. The spot price is based on what's called the futures commodity price, which based on what they think is coming out of the ground, and people exercising their futures and shorting the market and doing all these other sorts of things, combined with all the paper gold. Now, here's what I want you to understand, okay? There is a very big difference between physical gold and the spot price of gold and actual gold. And here's what's going on. One of the ways that the market price is being manipulated, first of all, you have physical gold which is being pulled out of the ground. But secondly, you've got the traders out there that are trading in these things called ETFs. An ETF is an exchange-traded fund. Now, we all know what fiat currency is. You want to know what a gold ETF is? It's a fiat gold. That's all it is. It's fiat gold. And the current number is this. There are 350 paper contracts to every single ounce of gold out there. And every time the central bank wants to push down the price of gold to make the dollar look strong, okay, what they do is they flood the market with a bunch of ETFs. Now, here's what's happening. As our economies continue to weaken, people are now saying, hey, and by the way, the reason why they can get away with this is because most of these ETF contracts never settle in physical gold. They settle in cash at a future point in time, usually 3 months out. So it's the flooding of the market of these paper contracts that reduce down this so-called spot price of gold that you and I never get. But what's beginning to happen now is the world is beginning to wake up at what's going on around us. People are no longer accepting ETFs, and we've got 300. If there are 350 claims on each ounce of gold, what's beginning to happen now? Those people with these claims are beginning to say, "I don't want to settle in cash. I want to take physical delivery." And what that's doing now is it's starting to put a squeeze on the amount of physical gold available in the marketplace. And in fact, in markets like India and in China and in Russia right now, gold is selling for several multiples above the spot price. So first of all, you and I never get the spot price. The second thing that happens, which I like to explain to people, and by the time I explain it, they usually get, okay, now I get it. Because what happens is we start educating somebody about gold. We talk to them about Karatbars. They see some of our informational videos. They go, they watch the videos. They come to the webinars. They start learning about the true nature of fiat currency and why gold is holding its value. We do this whole education. Then the next thing they do is they go onto the internet. They Google up gold price. And what do they see? They see the spot price for gold. And then they say, well, how many grams go into an ounce? And they say, okay, it takes 31.1 grams to make an ounce. So they take whatever that spot price is, divide it by 31.1, and they say, well, that's what the price of them should be. No. Okay, so here's the second thing. First of all, none of us get the spot price. And you can't price grams by ounces. Okay, so here's the thing. I've in my lifetime, I have consumed and purchased a lot of gold, and I have some 100-ounce bars. I've got some 10-ounce bars. I've got 1-ounce bars, and I've also got grams, lots of grams that I've accumulated through carat bars. And I'll tell you this: when I go to the dealer and I buy a 10-ounce bar of gold, I get a better price. I don't get the spot price. Okay, I never get the spot price. It doesn't exist. Before I even go into this, let me explain what the chain of gold looks like. First of all, here's how the price of gold really gets arrived at. First of all, somebody owns a mine in Peru or in Canada or in Australia or somewhere in Africa, and so someone digs a hole and starts stripping out the ground, and they find veins of ore. Okay, so the ore gets pulled out of the mine, and then the miner basically sells that raw ore either to a tolling operation, which shakes it out and gets the rocks off of it, or sends it directly over to the refiner. Okay, the price at which the ore from the ground goes to the refiner is just slightly below the spot price, which is why we're seeing more and more gold production happening now, because the spot price is rising relative to these currencies, which is now making it interesting for miners to ramp up their production. Okay, so ore comes out of the ground, it gets sold to the refiner at a price literally just a couple of percentage points below whatever the spot price is. It goes into the refiner melts it down, extracts all the impurities, okay, turns it into pure gold, okay, there's several grades, so I'm not going to get into 4 nines, 3 nines, 2 nines. We have 4 nines gold, the best gold out there. Then the refiner takes that and then puts it into bricks. They put it into 100-ounce bars, kilo-sized bars, 10 ounces, 1 ounces, and yes, even grams, okay? Then the gold from the refiner goes over to the wholesaler or the distributor or the institutional buyer, which could be HSBC Bank, it could be the Federal Reserve, it could be any one of these large institutional buyers. None of us are that. And then that from the refiner to the institutional buyer, it usually settles out slightly above the spot price, because now we're dealing with pure gold. And then from the refiner, it hits the wholesaler or the bullion dealer, and then the bullion dealer also has to put a margin on it. So by the time it gets out into the retail channel, it's been touched 6 or 7 times, and that's why it's never at the spot price. So now that we understand that, okay, so there is a daily price for gold, and it is related to the spot price, but none of us ever get it. All right, now, anything purchased in quantity, you're going to get a better price per unit of measure than anything bought in a smaller quantity. And the example I give 2 examples. I mean, I'm a cheesehead. I'm not from Wisconsin, but man, I love my cheese. And if I go off and buy a 5-pound brick of cheese, my price per ounce is less than if I buy a 2-pound brick of cheese. But if I buy a 2-pound brick of cheese, I'm going to pay more by the ounce than I did for the 5, but I'm going to pay less by the ounce if I only buy a 1-pound brick of cheese. Okay, and on and on and on we go. If I buy a 1/2-pound brick of cheese, I'm going to pay more per ounce than if I bought a pound. Same thing with milk. Okay, it takes 4 quarts to make a milk, to make a gallon of milk. Your price per gallon, okay, is going to be less than if you buy 4 quarts. Anything in quantity, because it has to be manufactured, it needs to be packaged, it needs to be shipped, it needs to be distributed, it needs to be retailed, all of these things. It's no different with gold, okay? When you buy a 100-ounce bar of gold, your price per ounce will be higher than the spot price, but it will be less than if you buy a 10-ounce bar of gold. If you buy a 10-ounce bar of gold, your price per ounce will be less than if you buy a 5-ounce bar of gold. And if you buy a 5-ounce bar of gold, your price per ounce will be less than if you buy 1 ounce. And if you buy an ounce, you're going to pay less per ounce than if you buy by the gram. Listen, now think about these carat bars. Every single one of these things needs to be refined. It needs to be minted. It needs to be stamped. It needs to be serial numbered. It needs to be encased in a plastic card to put the security features on it. It needs to have the hologram technology on it. And I don't care where you're buying it. You will never, ever, ever get 31 grams of gold for the price of an ounce. It will always cost you more no matter where you get it. So, and I encourage people to go test that theory. I've tested it myself countless times, okay? So there's the second thing. Now, the third thing is, I was actually doing a 3-way a couple nights ago with some people out of Calgary, and I think Monica and your crew, you might even be on here today, and you'll know this is true. They called me up about 9 o'clock at night, and they had a bunch of questions for me. And one of the questions, brand new affiliate, his question was, he says, well, okay, so he says, I love this whole idea. I get this whole fiat currency thing, but what about the price? And I said, what do you mean, what about the price? He says, well, listen, I just went online and I just found a gram for, I can't remember the exact price he quoted, but I think he said it was like 50 US dollars. I said, really? You found a gram for 50 bucks? He said, I sure did. I said, are you online right now? And he said, yes. I said, I want you to go to the website and I want you to go try and buy one. He said, what do you mean? I said, go try and buy one. So he went to the website, he clicked in. I said, here's the thing. They're going to hook you in with a cheap price if you buy multiple grams. Try to buy just one or try to buy just two and see what happens. And so he did that. And all of a sudden he clicked. He says, you're right. I can't buy just one. They give me this, they advertise a price, but I can't get it. I think in his case, he said the minimum spend wasn't even by the number of grams. He says, I can't even begin buying grams unless I commit to a minimum of 200 bucks, I think was the number that he gave me. So first of all, there's a lot of deceptive stuff going on the internet. You know, and when you look at what Karatbars is, with the security features that are built into it, and we can talk about this a bit more, in terms of the ease of saleability of it, price is absolutely irrelevant. Now, the other thing he said to me was, well, what about the buyback price? I mean, there's a spread between what we buy it for and what we sell it for. So if I buy it today, I'm going to lose money tomorrow. I said, yeah, go down to a bullion dealer. Go buy yourself an ounce of gold today, go sell it tomorrow and watch what happens. He says there's going to be a spread on that. And it's no different here at Karatbars. But if you have bought into this whole idea of affordable gold and setting up a savings program, you are not going to sell it tomorrow. And if you understand that the buyback price is built upon the spot price, and if we listen to what Bo told us this morning about what's coming down the pipe, and we all understand that, I promise you this, if you'll just begin acquiring affordable gold by the gram, start doing it now, start getting these Karatbars, which we can exchange back through the K exchange, which we can take out through the account-to-account transfers, which Karatbars will recirculate back without having to find a bullion dealer, or that you can take into a bullion dealer. Okay, when you take all of that into account and you just start saving these things and hanging on to these things and you wait until you need it, because this is your inflation-proof savings. When you cash that thing, and I'm not going to make any forward-looking statements in terms of where I think the price of gold is going, but I think we're all on the same page here. The buyback price today is absolutely irrelevant, because we are buying the best gold on the planet at a price at a very competitive per gram price when you compare it to like product, okay? And the future buyback price will also rise, and so it absolutely becomes irrelevant.